Okay, episode 33. Good old 33 episode. We actually have a lot of news to cover other than basketball, which is weird for this time of year. But we'll
Yeah, and we
start
finally
with
got the NFL.
yeah, we finally got some NFL talk again. Not Lamar, but it does involve Baltimore. So Odell signing a pretty big 18 and a half or $18 million deal 1 year. I believe 15 million guaranteed, Matt. So a good
Woo.
paycheck for Odell. Good pickup. The Ravens desperately, regardless of if Lamar's coming back or not, needed a wide receiver one. They get a guy who, when healthy, as we've seen, can still make an impact on the field. We'll see kind of how it goes. I think his production is going to be valued a lot on who his quarterback is, obviously. But what does this mean? What does this mean for Lamar? Is this enough, you think, to get him to come back? Or is it just kind of are you gonna pay me still? I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna affect Lamar. What do you think?
Phew, I don't know. I mean, so far the reports are saying that it's looking good because I don't know, they FaceTime and then they said that they went out to a club together. So obviously the chemistry is starting to build up, but I still don't see Lamar playing without a contract. And I don't think he will play without a long-term contract. I don't think this says anything. And to me, if I'm Lamar, I'm like, okay, you sign Odell, who's coming off a torn ACL, and you give him that much guaranteed.
15
And
guaranteed.
I'm a quarterback, and no offense, but that's the most important position in football.
And a former
So
MVP.
right, so I would be, yeah, it's my friend, but I would be kind of disrespected by the front office. So it's a lot of hardball, I think, between him and the Ravens front office. So I think this doesn't really change anything for Lamar because that makes the blood worse to me. You gave 15 million guaranteed to a guy that didn't even play last year. He didn't even play. So what how are you struggling to give me what does he want? Like 45 million guaranteed, something like that for 5 years. Deshaun Watson money. So where's the struggle? There's no baggage with me. I'm not injury prone, really outside of this year. But I really think Lamar, if he was signing a contract extension or if he signed one, I feel like he would have played it out this year. But I think he was playing smart, playing hardball, and decided I'm injured. I'm just not gonna risk anything. And I'm gonna let the Ravens crumble themselves. And sure enough, that's kind of what happened. Their offense looked terrible without him. So yeah, I don't think this really changes anything at the end of the day for Lamar. I think he ain't playing unless he gets that long-term deal, which I don't think it's looking good right now.
That's so funny you said that because I was actually thinking the same thing. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, maybe this means like it's gonna entice Lamar to come back. I was thinking exactly what you were thinking. If I'm Lamar, that
Hmm.
would piss me off more. Like that would
Yeah.
make me more mad. Um, exactly for the reasons you said. You hit it right on the head. Odell didn't play at all last year, is getting a little bit more nicked up with these injuries, and yet here you are not paying me. Um, I'm the guy that's been kind of carrying the offense of this franchise for the most part, the past 4 years. So I've won an MVP. I have the best winning percentage, I think, regular season out of quarterbacks my age up until this point. So what is there? Why are you not paying me? The most important position in football, without a doubt. So I was thinking exactly the same thing you were thinking. Like, man, if I'm Lamar, that would just make me more mad. I
Hey,
get he's
that's
my
that's
friend, but
that's why we're
yeah,
the fan and the fanatic.
exactly. Like, man, what's going on here? Anyway, I hope Lamar gets paid. I think he deserves it, wherever he goes. So I still don't get why teams are so hesitant on him. But we'll have to see. The Lamar Jackson saga continues. But it will be nice to see Odell back in the league. I think he's good for the NFL.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
we'll see how much star power he gets in Baltimore with that offense they kind of run. But anytime Odell's in the league, it'll make for some excitement, and it's good. It's just good for the NFL in general. So, welcome back, Odell. At least he's out of your division, Matt. He's not going to like the Eagles or something. Uh,
I
you
know.
probably would have liked
Or
him
the
in
Giants.
Dallas. Yeah, or the Giants. You would have
Hey,
liked
but
him.
15 million though?
Mm-mm.
That's a steep price to me.
But hey, 9 million for a punter.
But he made the Pro Bowl.
Okay, true, true. Um. Anyway, yeah, we'll get back to the NFL stuff as we hear more about Lamar. But we actually have some other stuff to talk about. So we don't always talk UFC, but when there's big fights like what happened this past weekend, gotta touch on it. So UFC 287, the rematch, I believe it's the you could say almost the grudge match, the third one between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. And lo and behold, shout out to Izzy. He erased his demons and
Yep.
knocked out uh the Poatan, I believe, or Poatan. I think that's his nickname. Knocked him out cold in the second round. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting because I mean, I am personally an Izzy fan. I think he's a little cringe sometimes with the outside antics or what how he chooses to, but the thing I do respect about Izzy is that he is always going to be himself, no matter what other people think. Right? People might think it's a little cringe the stuff he does, or a little bit too dramatic or over the top. But hey, he's always 100% true to himself. That he is who he is. So I mean, I gotta respect that a lot. Just outside. And then you really look at the fights he had. I mean, I think he lost twice in kickboxing. Oh, actually, so maybe this was the fourth time they met because he had already lost twice when they were kickboxers. Obviously, he lost the last time, knocked out or technical knockout. But for this time to really put all that, behind him, and I don't know, Matt, maybe you can kind of relate to what he was kind of expressing. And at the end of the match when he won, he's talking about all the obstacle he had to overcome. And in this case, you know, the mental game, like in baseball, uh I mean it's really anything you do in life, right? um when you have a certain hurdle, like it could be a test, it could be uh some job that you can never quite get. You try and try, and there's always that hurdle. But for him to take take all that and overcome that, I'm just so impressed by that victory. Mentally, it's that's a hard thing to overcome when a guy has beaten you, you know like 3 times in a row, and the whole world knows it too. The whole world knows it. The whole world knows, is making fun of you, doesn't believe in you. But yeah, for him to do that and it's something like fighting too, to overcome that mental hurdle, I thought was really impressive. But I don't know, did you actually watch the fight?
I watched the main clip, the last 20
Mm-hmm.
seconds of the fight, and whew, I mean, the way that he was pinned in the corner, and
Mm-hmm.
then for him to get out of that and just straight out knock him out cold with the celebration at the end,
Oh,
showing
that's
the arrows,
so
he was
tough.
shooting the arrows.
So tough.
But I think that's why I kind of, I'm more of a boxer. I was always a bigger boxer fan, in the prime age, like Oscar De La Hoya, obviously Floyd, Manny Pacquiao. Like that was kind of my draw. But with UFC, outside of Max, I haven't really found a fighter to kind of attach to. And probably Izzy is the closest that I'm gonna say that I kind of cheer for him to win. Not because I really don't follow UFC. So the fact that I'm like really attaching myself to Adesanya and what he's doing and what he's building in the octagon, it's pretty impressive. And I love the attitude and the swagger.
Mm,
Like
he
he
got
just
swag.
he conquered his demons and he's gonna express it the way that he should. It's almost like it's like the Angel Reese thing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
she wins the natty, she's doing the ring me, you know, Adesanya's shooting the arrows. So, you need that in sports. I think you need that flair, that attitude. So I just love that about him outside of the fighting. I think he brings so much to UFC and he's such a huge draw to me. And I don't know, maybe we should go see him one day because I
I
didn't
would,
get a chance to go.
yeah, we should. I would be down to go see him again. I'll say again.
Again, I
Yeah,
know. And you got to see Max too.
yeah. Um, but yeah, congrats. And while we're on the subject, Matt, we gotta shout out Max. He is fighting this weekend.
Hmm.
So good luck. I'm repping him right now, actually. Uh the best is blessed, as we all know. So he has a fight against Arnold Allen coming up this weekend, another promising young contender in the featherweight division. I mean, it's unfortunate that this is kind of Max's role now because he can't see. Okay, it's not just him, but I don't think a lot of featherweights can touch Alex Volkanovski. But he might just have to be the contender gatekeeper at this point, that one seed. And I mean, even the guy who's Yair Rodriguez, who currently has the interim belt, Max beat him. So you know, it's kind of a weird how the UFC is set up. It does just because you're the second best guy doesn't mean you always get to fight the best guy. It's a little weird like that, right? But yeah, always good to see Max. Maybe he puts on another show, and I think his best bet now is that Volkanovski loses. I don't see that happening, but if he does lose, that'll give Max a best path back to the throne. Um, I don't think Alex is gonna lose anytime soon. He just looks like a monster. Completely different level, especially after the Islam fight. His stock went up a ton. So we'll have to see how it goes. Obviously, going to be cheering for Max. And for those of you listening, if you do want to watch this weekend, it is on ESPN, so no pay per view. You just turn it on. It'll be on cable. So the whole island should have their TVs turned to ESPN this Saturday to support our boy. So good luck, Max, and yeah, we wish you the best. Um, and yeah, hopefully, the Blessed Express keeps on chugging. So we'll check on that this weekend. And yeah, all right. Other news, Hawaii basketball. Okay, we got some spicy stuff cooked up. Is that a
Yep.
UNC
Yes,
transfer that I
sir.
see?
Yes, sir.
What? Do you know anything about this guy though? You done any research on him?
Well, with our UNC insider that we have, he's not the greatest, but he is talented. So he did come from, I believe, Virginia, and then went to UNC. So hey, Virginia and UNC ain't no joke of a college basketball program. But kind of looking at his stats, nothing really flashy. Last year, played 11 games the whole season, so nothing crazy. Average less than 2 points a game. 46% from the field. He did shoot 100% from the free throw line, so I'll take that.
Wow.
I don't care if it's 1 for 1, 2 for 2. 100% is 100%. But I don't know too much about this guy. I mean, it sounds like he's capable of shooting the threes, but I'm almost kind of worried. It's like, okay, is this the guy that's kind of replacing Kamaka? Because I can kind of see the similar background. Like you come from a big program, you don't play that much, and come to a lesser tier program in UH, and you can carve out a nice quality role. So I think I see something similar. I think his frame a little more built than Kamaka. Kamaka, I think, is a little taller, more lanky, but this guy has a little more mass on his bodies, which is kind of what I like, honestly. We need some inside presence, and he kind of needs to be the dude because we're losing a lot of our guys. And I'm gonna say Coleman's gone. So outside of Jovan, who else is gonna score for us? So I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what this guy has. I think we only have him for 1 year though. So he's a one and done. But I did see that in his interview, or they interviewed him in the paper. He said he's ready to bring Hawaii to the NCAA tournament. So
Okay.
that's a bold statement, right? He's ready to win some NCAA games. So I mean I gotta get excited for him. UNC is a quality program. So if he can stretch the floor and give us some mass inside, yeah, that's a winner.
Mm.
Finally. But it's not we also have to give credit because I don't think this guy comes if not for Juan Munoz, because they were high school teammates. And I heard that he was a huge reason in Justin McCoy coming to Hawaii. So I don't know, maybe Munoz gets that eligibility year back and those two can just be a dynamic duo, which would be great. So shout out Juan Munoz. Thank you for bringing us some kind of talent, giving us some sliver of hope for next year. But yeah,
Uh,
let's see what this guy's got.
okay, I like it. Some hope for UH basketball. Some excitement. I like where
Yeah.
this is going. So anyway, let's get to golf. We're talking golf on the Fan and the Fanatic. What? But it is a major. It is the Masters, and this one was a little spicy because we got to see the live players compete with the PGA Tour guys again. So that brought a little bit of extra drama, you could say, to this tournament. Um, I mean, the Masters is always fun to watch. At least Tiger made the cut. He got hurt, didn't wasn't really in contention. But the story
Mhm.
was really Brooks Koepka and John Rahm. So Koepka shot out of a
Ooh,
cannon,
yeah.
7 under on the first day, 5 under the next day. Right, he's sitting at 12 under, heavy favorite to win. But you know what, John Rahm has kind of been one of the, if not the best player in the world, past 3 or so years. Um, I mean, just all class. And to me, this was a huge win, not only for John Rahm, obviously it's his first Masters, big deal, but the PGA. And it's definitely a pride thing. I think the PGA guys are happy to see a fellow PGA Tour guy come out on top in this one. Uh, I think they were all a little bit worried with how good Kepka was playing, right? How is Kepka? How is it gonna look for a live guy to come in and beat all the other PGA Tour guys? It's not gonna look great for the tour, right? So the fact that John Rahm won, I think, is a good sign for the other PGA or for the PGA Tour, and I think they should be very blessed that you know
They should.
that he stuck around. But yeah,
Hey, I'm happy Phil did well. I'm a guy who likes to stay attached to the oldies for as long as possible. So, cheer for Tiger, you know, arguably the GOAT of golf, maybe him
hmm
and Jack. But yeah, Tiger's body kind of wearing down. I don't know how much longer he really should be playing at this point. I just think the body is just kind of not on his side right now. So I think he just needs to take care of that first. But I mean, credit to him. The fact that he's even playing is ridiculous. But him, Phil, I always like to see those guys kind of, show us that, hey, we still got some juice in the tank. And Phil did pretty well this Masters. So that's always a good thing for me to see. But yeah, John Rahm.
everyone hate all the PGA guys
I
hate
mean,
Phil
yeah,
though.
we hate Phil, but it's like, I mean, especially from the match too, right? He's like,
Yeah,
what did Charles Barkley say? He's like that annoying friend that gives you the brain surgeon answer when you're trying to just ask a simple question.
yeah. I
But
mean, I know all the PGA, like Rory hates it, or like they all hate him for going over to live and doing whatever.
I know.
I don't know, but yeah, just golf wise, I get
Golf
what you're
wise,
saying.
yeah.
Like, yeah, just golf wise, it's always good to see that. The political stuff we don't get into
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
We don't need to
yeah.
talk about all that stuff. But yeah, golf wise, I get what you're saying there with Phil. Yeah, good to see the familiar names we could say
hmm
from the past. So always good to see there. All right. Well, last topic before we get to our conversation with Logan about the playoffs. We got baseball talk. Matt, I'll let you take the floor first. Yankees. Why don't you give us a little Yankees update? How we feeling now about two
Ah,
weeks in?
so 10 games in, my team's 6-4. We win our first three series, which is exactly what you want. We're recording on Monday. We lose a pretty brutal game to the Guardians. So yeah, down one in the series. Like I don't know. Like if it wasn't for the Rays, I would be like, oh, like this is fine. Like no big deal. Everyone's just kind of feeling each other out. But it's like, damn, the Rays are 10-0. We're already 4 games back, and it's like we're 6-4. That's not terrible through 10 games. Like, well, obviously we're gonna have slumps and we're gonna have hot streaks, but Tampa Bay is scaring me a little bit. Jumping out to a 4 game lead this quickly is a little concerning. And I think the Yankees just little things that they do in their 4 losses. It's like they beat themselves. First inning, I watched a little bit of today's game. They jump on Shane Bieber, 4 straight hits. They're up 2-0. Second and third, nobody out, and then they can't score anymore. Like, you gotta have situational hitting in that situation. Um, IKF getting thrown out at third, trying to read a dirt ball that was literally right in front of Zunino with Aaron Judge at the plate. Like, what are you doing, Isaiah? Like, finally got a hit, by the way. He's 1 for like 15 on the season. But yeah, Isaiah, that's like, come on, you got to know who's batting in that situation. If you're in scoring position, actually, you're in scoring position if you're on base with Aaron Judge on at the plate. So can't be making those mistakes. Later in the game, we get another chance. We're down one. Gleyber Torres, gets a triple, and we get Judge, Rizzo, and Stanton coming up, just needing to cash that one run in, and none of them can get them in. I mean, that's our three best hitters at the plate, arguably, and like you got to do that. Judge gets a sorry check swing, flies out. That kind of killed everything. So it's just things like that. And you got guys in scoring position. You got to cash them in, especially with less than 2 outs. That's the thing that's frustrating. It's like we don't need the big home run all the time. Sometimes all you need is a ground ball, a routine fly to right, and let the guy score. But obviously, I think the pitching is fine. Garrett Cole, my Cy Young candidate, is on the bump tomorrow. He's off to a flying start, so I'm liking that pick for me there. But yeah, outside of the Rays, I'm not too concerned. But yeah, 4 games. If we start getting to like 6, then I'm gonna really like, okay, guys, like we need to go on like an 8 game winning streak now. But I think right now, I think the Rays have been playing some pretty cupcake teams, so I'll temper my expectations for another 2 games.
Okay.
But yeah, 10 games, right? All that matters is September and October.
Yep. That's what I always say, isn't it, Matt? All that matters is September and October. However, I am gonna state now that the Dodgers, we're gonna have to make a move in season for starting pitching. Um, we got
Us too.
roughed. We got roughed up by Arizona this weekend. We were putting up, to our credit, and I'll talk about this a little bit later. But yeah, the pitching, I'm a little bit concerned with our starting pitching outside of Julio and Kirsch. I mean, even Kirsch got kind of touched up this weekend. Yeah, I mean Arizona, they're a young, hungry team, and they came out hungry and took three straight from us. But I mean, some of these scores 12-8, 11-6 can't be having, those kind of scores. Syndergaard, of course. I mean, that didn't pan out too well. Grove, he's one of the younger guys, fit starter. So not going to overreact just yet. I do know it's a long season. We have time. These guys are going to take time to develop. But how it's looking right now, we're going to need one more pitcher, I think, to really solidify this team pitching wise. Now, let me flip to the offensive side. This is where I really think I'm very optimistic because, we lose Trey Turner, obviously a big loss there. And we lose a couple other guys, Cody Bellinger, Justin Turner, guys that have been there, you know, with our team for a long time. However, this new team, we are hitting right now, and it's looking pretty good. I'm very encouraged to see. I mean, obviously Freddie Freeman. What else can you say about the guy? Just one of the best pure hitters
Hmm.
in baseball.
Yep.
I mean, we're 11 games in. He's batting 419, 500 on base percentage, just on an absolute tear. JD Martinez kind of filling that five hole pretty nicely, I'd say. A little bit more pop from him would be great to see, but I'm not complaining or anything. Mookie getting the average back up. If Mookie hits around 280, 290 again with 25 plus home runs, yeah, that's the Mookie season, Mookie bets I need. But I'll get to the two real standouts so far. So I mean, obviously Trace Thompson had the big 3 home run game. Uh, good stuff from him. But the two surprises, I guess you could say, how well Will Smith has been hitting. Right, he's hitting over 300. Right, I know that's your fantasy guy, and also the guy I told you to watch out for at the beginning of the season. Right, the big lefty James Outman, the rookie. Told you I've been hearing a lot of stuff throughout the Dodgers, I guess, rumor mill that he's the next guy up. He's the next big lefty. And so far, I like what I see. He has 3 home runs on the year, hitting about 300. Strikeouts might be a little bit of a problem for him, but I mean, he's still a rookie. He's got time to figure it out. But he just has that swing, right? Where when he hits it, that ball is not staying in the park for very long. So I'll say I do like that. But the real thing that so far has impressed me and gives me hope for the playoffs is our 2 out hitting. 2 out runners in scoring position hitting. The year that we won in the bubble, we had like one of the best 2 out runners in scoring position averages like in the league. That that year we came in clutch with 2 outs. And so far in our wins, we have been hitting very, very well with 2 outs and runners on. So to see that is really encouraging. We'll see, how that goes throughout the year and whatnot. But I think that's a big key for our Dodger team, in particular. Especially, we don't have the big names anymore. We still got a couple guys slump in, CT, Rojas, Peralta, guys like that. At least Max has finally picked it up. Real slow start.
Oh, he had a big game today.
Yeah, and I benched him. I had 2 home runs and 7 RBIs sitting on my bench. But you know what? That's fine because he just loves hitting in that the Giants stadium. Whoever's on the bump. And we got to Logan Webb today. Um, yeah, that this if this is the game that turns around, the Max Muncy of last season, I mean, that's just the cherry on top at this point. If he can go back to being that patient power hitter, man, we're looking real good. His defense, I mean, it's not going to be the best. That's just how it's going to be. But if Max can, return to that threat that he was during our World Series run, watch out for the Dodgers. I know there's a lot of talk about the Padres, the Braves, the Phillies, but hey, I I'm feeling pretty optimistic. So,
Yeah, I can second that for you guys. I think, if he performs well, that's almost like you add a player. You're adding a new player in a sense because he was pretty awful last year.
mhm,
And it's kind of similar for my case too with the Yankees. Like Max Muncy is that X factor offensively. If it's like he has all-star potential. My guy is Gleyber Torres, who's off to a hot start this year. So I
mhm.
kind of see a little similarities between those two guys. If they play to what we think their potential can be and be consistent, that makes both of our offenses just that much deeper. Because if Gleyber Torres is right, he's an all-star caliber player, and the same thing
Mhm.
goes for Max Muncy too. So huge for both of our guys to hit this year
Well,
because
we'll
we need
see.
it.
Hopefully they
We're
can.
gonna need it.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Yeah, I mean, so far not too crazy. We're 11 games in. We got a long ways to go. So
We got 150, 51 more to go.
yeah, so
52
we got a lot of
more.
time to talk baseball. But yeah, I mean, that was a good intro to the pod there. Uh got playoff basketball coming up, so obviously could be more focusing on that. But Matt, I think that's a good time for us to get to our interview with Logan. So on that note, yep, everyone stick around. We get into a lot of play in and play off basketball talk. So we'll take a short break and then we'll be right back with Logan. Okay, we got playoff basketball, play in basketball, first of all. So, of course, we have our NBA guest, Logan, on the pod. Logan, thank you again for joining us. It's always good to have you on. And unfortunately, home team isn't going to be in. We'll get to that stuff later. But for now, I want to just kick things off right away because I don't know how much time we're going to take up. We got a lot of basketball to talk. But we'll start right away. So the regular season is done. We got the play-in tournament coming up tomorrow. Actually, Lakers play the Timberwolves, and then I think it's the Hawks and the Heat. The other 7, 8 seeds for the East. Obviously, we'll talk about the Lakers first because we got to talk about the Lakers first. So, how are we feeling, Logan? How are we feeling about the Lakers in this playing game tomorrow? We winning?
Of course. It's the
Uh,
Timberwolves. They're broken right now. There's obviously this looming drama within the locker room and the feud between Gobert and just breaking your hand during halftime. That's ridiculous. I've never heard of like a story like that in a long time in sports and in basketball, especially.
yeah, I was. I mean, when it happened, I was like, "Dang, that's so dumb." But now there's like a part of me that's like, maybe the NBA is a little bit scripted because is there any way McDaniels like would actually just do that out of rage? I mean, I get it, like it can happen, but to me it's like their best defender punches the wall like the last game of the regular season. Gobert gets suspended for one game. Of course, and who do they play? LeBron. Is it? I mean, I don't know. It's like almost too fishy for me, but maybe that's just the implosion of the Timberwolves. I don't know. I don't know, Matt. Lakers are winning this, right? You agree with this?
They're gonna lose because everyone's gonna expect them to. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding. They better win. They
because
better win.
we're at home too,
I'm
right?
I'm a LeBron fan, so I'm sure. Yeah, you guys have home court, so there really shouldn't be any excuse. Anthony Davis should score 40. LeBron should put up 25, 8 and 8. D'Lo probably like what 15 to 20. Austin Reeves, same thing. They should win by at least 10, right?
Yeah. I think. Well, I definitely like our chances. I already like them, even with Gobert and McDaniel still playing. Now those two, I mean, you could say I think easily their best two defenders, right? The rim protector and then the on ball protector, or I mean on ball defender, uh out now. So LeBron's gonna get to do what he wants. AD is gonna get to do what he wants. I mean, Cat's not really a defensive threat by any means. He still has, his dangerous offensive game, but definitely not the same rim protector that Rudy Gobert is. So I'm liking the Lakers' chance tomorrow. But since we're on the topic of the Lakers, how are we feeling? So let's just say, I'm not going to assume, but say the Lakers do win tomorrow, right? And we do get the chance to play the young, gritty, I guess that's what people are calling them, Memphis Grizzlies.
Grit
Maybe
and
I'm,
grind Grizzlies.
yeah, I don't know if I'm a little delusional here as a Lakers fan, but I kind of like our chances against the Grizzlies in a best of seven. I don't know. I could see us winning in 6 games. I can really see that. And I'm trying to be like not super biased, but I think just a mix of a little bit of youth, you know, the mental toughness you need to win 4 games in a 7 game series. I feel like it can take a toll on teams. And when you have guys like Anthony Davis, LeBron James, especially LeBron, right, who's been there, done that literally his whole career. I don't know. I think I really like our chances if we do get to play Memphis. Logan, what do you think?
I think it's gonna be really exciting. Can you imagine LeBron versus Dylan Brooks? That would be a very interesting series because I think the Lakers will have the upper hand, and I think they'll win in 6. I have to agree with you.
Oh, 6, okay. Matt, what do you think? Lakers in 6 if they do get to play Memphis?
No, no, that's going 7. But I will say I think the Lakers have a good shot to come out of that in 7. I think it would split 1-1 first 2 games. After 4, it would be 2-2, and then it'll alternate. And then the Lakers will win the last 2, I feel like
Hmm.
6 and 7. So
Okay.
I think that's the way it's gonna go. But I think the Lakers are healthy, so when they had the trade go through for D'Lo, Vanderbilt, and Beasley, they have the best record in the league with this new roster. So you're playing a whole new team than they were what 4 months ago. So you got to treat them as they're the best team in the league. So I'm gonna say they win in 7, despite Memphis being the 2 seed and a young Jaw. But yeah, hard to pick against the Lakers, I think, right now.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. But we can get to the other games because we'll have time to talk about the Lakers when hopefully they make it into the playoffs. So we'll look across the board
What if
at
their
the other
season ends
three.
on Thursday?
Okay, calm down. Let's not get too negative on this show, Matt. Um, just because you have a new team now doesn't mean you get to bash my team. All right. Um,
Hey, my new team didn't make the playoffs, so
that's true. Your old team didn't make it. Your old team is in the Weminyama lottery. Your new team is also in the lottery. You
You're so
can,
lucky.
yeah, you can this next segment is not going to involve you too much. Anyway, let's get to other 3 games. Just kind of curious, get your guys' take. We'll stay in the West, right? OKC. So OKC does end up making it along with the Pelicans. Think our predictions, we all got some of them right, some of them wrong, but I am favoring the Pelicans here just a little bit. I think OKC is extremely talented. I just think they're a little bit too young. They got a guy like CJ who's been there, Brandon Ingram as well. I think the Pelicans are have been playing pretty well. They had that big slide, but they've been playing a little bit better as of late. So I got the Pels taking that one. Logan, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with the Pelicans in 7 games. Or no, not the 7 games. Sorry, uh, but they're gonna dominate this game, and I think they're gonna move on the the 8 seed and take the first round to 7 games.
Oh, okay. So you think
Yeah.
so we'll
wow.
we'll
Oh,
say we'll say the Lakers. Well, I mean, we're just gonna say probably the Lakers are the favorite, right? So assuming things go according to plan there, they end up winning. You think the Pelicans will beat the Thunder and then they will also beat the Timberwolves, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that happening. I think they're kind of hot right now. And like we said, right, the Timberwolves are kind of a mess. Just in the locker room. When you don't have it sound in the locker room, especially during this time of year, I think it's kind of too late for a team to come together. But I'll side with you there, Logan. Matt, or what are you thinking?
I want to pick the Pelicans, but I'm gonna pick the Thunder more
Oh,
as if it's kind of they have nothing to lose. And I think those are the teams that are dangerous, especially in the situation where it's not a 7 game series. It's basically a win or go home game for OKC for the next 2 games that they play. So a team like that, I mean, we saw March Madness, a few weeks ago. What happens to all those Cinderella teams? They just go crazy, at the right time. So I think OKC, they have a guy in Shea that can dominate. He can take anyone off the dribble. And I like the supporting cast around him with Giddy and the Dort and other guys like that. So they're dangerous. I think this is their time to maybe come out and show us they got some stuff left, or they're on the rise, is what I should say. So I think the Thunder pull off the upset in this one.
Okay, so say the Thunder pull off the upset. Um, who do you think? Do you think they win their second game too? If let's say they play the Timberwolves, same situation. You think you like the Thunder over the Timberwolves again?
I do, because I think the Timberwolves have too much drama in the locker room. And I think the loss of, I don't know if Gobert's going to come back or not, but let's just say he does. I don't think he really is that presence in the playoffs. He's more of a regular season defensive player to me. And I think you can exploit him, in the pick and roll with athletic guards. And that's exactly what OKC has. And Jaden McDaniels, wing defenders are important in the playoffs, as we all know with the Blazers, right? That's how they
Mhm.
were successful. Jaden McDaniels is out for the season, so that's a huge loss. Who are they gonna stop? Who's gonna be on Shea that can guard him and slow him down? I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's a big
So
loss.
I think OKC is very dangerous, especially because they have nothing to lose at this point. But then they're gonna
Okay.
get killed by the Nuggets if they make it that far. So
Okay.
it's a little
Okay.
different in a 7 game series, but in an elimination type matchup, the underdog is very dangerous.
Okay. I like that. Matt kind of taking a little bit of a tangent there, but okay. So I could see that happening too. I do like the Thunder. I just feel like they're gonna make them tank on purpose or something for a higher draft pick. The front office is gonna tell them to
That's
lose,
what I was about to say.
right?
Right now
Because
they're the 10th seed, and if they win this whole or playing tournament, they're gonna bump up to the 8th seed, which makes their lottery odds a little bit worse.
yep,
And they have the most draft picks over the next coming years.
and if we know Sam Presti, he loves his draft picks, right? So I could definitely see them telling him like, "Hey, let's not win this year, but next year we can start winning."
But let's put up a fight,
Yeah,
make it a little interesting.
you can't make it too
They're
obvious.
But they're not gonna get Wembayama anyway. So even if they lose this game, I feel like their odds are super low unless they get lucky like a Derrick Rose situation. But
You're
no,
right.
I don't think
The
so.
Trailblazers are gonna get one by Yama.
Oh, I hope so.
That would be
No,
the
but Dame doesn't
ultimate.
want young guys.
Yeah, but I think he would make an exception for Victor. So, well, you know what? We'll see how that goes. This is all complete speculation, of course. But let's go over to the Eastern Conference because I mean we don't really talk about the Eastern Conference too much, just because both of our teams are in the Western Conference. So we usually stay more on that side. But you know, we still got to talk about the East. I would say the teams probably not as exciting or have usually as much drama and storyline this year, but start with the 7 and 8 seed here. I'm gonna guess Logan is gonna side with the Heat. Stay a little bit loyal to his roots. I also like the Heat because I mean, kind of the theme we've been going on here. Playoff time, the vets matter, experience matters. Miami as an organization, Eric Spoelstra as a head coach, and especially their main guy Jimmy Butler, who is kind of turned into one of the playoff stars as of in the recent years, kind of the driving force behind all his playoff teams. So I mean, pretty easy for me here. That reason I'm going Heat, Logan. I'm going Heat.
I'm going with the Heat. I'm actually wearing a Bam
Oh,
Adebayo
okay, the
Oh,
jersey
Bam
the
right
jersey.
now,
Okay, I like it.
so I'm rocking with the Heat for this episode.
I like it.
There's a lot to like about this matchup as a Heat fan. Like the Heat are at home and against the Hawks that are just not as well experienced as the Heat, and I think the Heat are just more playoff ready than the Hawks. It'll be a good game though. I think Trey Young will still put up a great fight.
Yeah, I mean, can't not taking anything away from Trey because he is also when he does get to the playoffs, right? Kind of can turn into the clutch guy for them as well. So, you know, his as much as he kind of gets um his I guess play this year with DeJounte Murray, people haven't been talking about Trey Young as much as we used to talk about him, but he's still a great player and definitely has shown in the past that he can perform in the playoffs. And remember, just not that long ago, upset two or three teams, right? On their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So can't sleep on the Hawks just yet. But I still am favoring the Heat. Matt, how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to side with both of you. I think the Heat take this one pretty convincingly. Playoff Jimmy, he's a different animal in this case,
Hmm.
and I think what's going under the radar too is the evolution of Bam. I think he's coming into his own, really developing into a complete offensive player now. He's always been a defensive hustle guy, but he's bringing the offense now, and that's dangerous to me. So with him and Jimmy, I don't see Atlanta really putting up too much of a fight. Although I do see Atlanta kind of squeaking into the playoffs on the back end, winning that last 8 seed game.
Okay. Okay. So you think no matter who comes out there, um, Atlanta takes it. I think I would agree with
And I
you
think they're
there.
at home. I think that makes a difference.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, see, I agree with you. I'll just say I think for that Bulls Raptors game, then I'm gonna I don't know. Something's telling me the Bulls. I don't really know why. Maybe it's the Patrick Beverly effect going on there. But yeah, I think it's gonna have to be on DeMar and Zach Levine to show up. And I mean the Raptors just squeaking into the playoffs this year. Not really sure what happened to them because I was kind of just assuming they would be pretty high up there as a playoff team. I'm surprised, at the end of the when all is said and done, they're in the play in. But I don't know. Maybe I think they're just missing a couple pieces. I mean, Siakam had a great year individually, but I think Fred Van Fleet, he had a decent year, but not probably up to the caliber that everyone was kind of expecting from him. So I'm gonna go with Chicago here, even though they're on the road. But I do still like Atlanta to come to be that eighth seed to come out in the play-in tournament. So I'll say the Bulls win, but the next game I'm taking the Hawks. What do you think, Logan?
I'm gonna go with the Raptors for this game. I just think about the Bulls and their path to the playoffs. Even if they get into the eighth seed, they're gonna have to go against who who else? The Bucks. And what happened with their last series? The last time they matched up, the Bucks just
Not a good
totally
sign for them.
gave them a gentleman sweep. So I think that the Bulls just don't really have much to play for. I think the Raptors have a little bit more hope because they had that championship run a couple of years ago. I think they still have that DNA in them, and I think they really do believe that they could beat anyone during this playoff. So I'm gonna give Raptors the edge for this game. They're gonna win by 6 points.
Oh, okay. Calling the score too. All right. So you said you're taking the
Score.
Hawks. Are you taking the Hawks uh in that last one, or you got the Raptors winning both?
I got the Hawks winning
Okay.
against the Raptors.
Okay. Okay. So, pretty good, all around consensus picks there for us. Um, I guess not too surprising. We will have to see how it goes after that, but let's talk about some of the games that, are going to be, I guess, there for sure. Uh, so first I want to go. Well, we can go finals first. Why don't we just go finals? So out of the 10 teams, because this is kind of the biggest pool now, right? We get a little bit more options. Out of the 10 teams, we'll go with our finals picks. So, Logan, I don't know if you already had something cooked up here. You want to share with us your finals prediction here?
Are you talking about the conference finals or the finals? The very end.
Uh, we'll say just the finals.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with my original prediction of
Ooh.
Nuggets and Bucks. I think this will be a great matchup to see the past two MVPs against each other, and they'll have a very smooth run to the finals because they have the one seed and they'll have home court advantage the whole time. So it'll be fun to watch them and see how they dominate throughout these next couple games.
Okay. All right. So I think my regular season, or when we did this way back, or way too early ones, I think I had the Sixers and Golden State, I believe. I think those are my two teams. I'm gonna change them up here. Out of the East, I'm gonna actually take Milwaukee. I think I had them, kind of our mid-season prediction. Uh, it's still close between them and Boston for me personally, but the reason I just gotta give the slight edge to Milwaukee is last year, in that playoff run, they didn't have Chris Middleton, and you know they get Chris Middleton back if he's healthy this year. When they play each other, and Drew Holiday, who has been an All Star this year, but has really stepped up the offensive game for him. And if he plays like how he's been playing throughout the regular season, I just gotta give the slight nod, even with Malcolm Brogdon joining the Celtics. It's close. I think he goes 7, but I have Boston or I'm sorry, I have Milwaukee in on the Eastern Conference side. And the West, it's really tough for me, uh, because my heart wants to say the Lakers, because like I really think they can make a strong aggressive push all 7 game series. It's just different when you play LeBron James in a 7 game series. I know he's 38 years old, but I have to just it's close, but I'm gonna go with the Suns over the Lakers here. Just I mean, Kevin Durant has been it's weird because no one's talking about him, but he's like when he has played this year has been on a completely different level. I mean, he's 50, 40, 90 season easily, averaging almost 30 points. You put that with Devin Booker, with Chris Paul, with DeAndre Ayton. If all those guys are healthy, I would take that team um in in any 7 game series. I think as good as the Suns already were, adding Kevin Durant as that closer, it's not fair to me. So I'll take the Suns and the Bucks. Um, Probably give the nod to the Suns. I think the Suns got it this year. What about you, Matt?
Okay. So I said from the regular season or when we first started, the Bucks and the Warriors. I'm going to stick with the Bucks in the East, but I'll say I think the Bucks, the key that's going to make them a title contender this year. Obviously, Chris Middleton comes back, but the thing that goes under the radar is when they signed Jay Crowder. When they won the championship, they had a gritty defender in PJ Tucker. And last year they were missing that kind of scrappy, just tough nose guy who's going to make threes in the corner and just defend at a high level. And I think Jay Crowder is such a huge piece for a championship team to have. So I like the Bucks coming out of the East and the West. I'm sorry, but I have to jump off from my Golden State pick. I think their inability to win on the road is a little too concerning now. I was trying to hold out as long as possible, but
It's a
you
mental
can't have one
block.
of the worst records as a
Yeah.
defending NBA champ on the road. Like, yeah. And they're going in as a 6 seed, so most likely every series they play is going to be they're going to have to win on the road at least one game. So
Every championship
I can't
run,
pick
you
them
have to
in
win
that
on the road.
case.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So with that being said, you got to win on the road. And especially if you're gonna play the Bucks, gotta be able to steal one. So who's a guy that always is in the playoffs and always seems to win at least one game every series on the road?
He's gonna
LeBron.
say it.
The
I'm gonna pick the Lakers
Lakers.
because I think,
Let's go.
yeah, the Lakers. It's Lakers. I think the Lakers with this new team, we gotta treat them as such. They have the best record since the trade deadline, and
Facts.
they have the pieces now. Jared Vanderbilt, the wing defender. They got Malik Beasley as a shooter, D'Lo as a combo guard who can shoot threes and spread the floor, unlike Mr. Westbrook who can't really shoot too well.
He has been
Austin
playing better.
Reeves has developed into a quality. Yeah, he has, but he just didn't fit on the Lakers, I
Right.
think. And he probably is going to do good with no Paul George. But I like the Lakers. And I think Anthony Davis, he's going to be the key to everything. We've been saying this for how many years on this pod? 2 years at least.
Mm-hmm.
If AD plays like AD can, they're going to the finals. Because you already know what LeBron's going to do. So I think the Lakers, they're going to do it. They're going to get to the finals. So I got the Lakers and the Bucks.
All right. Well, I hope I'm wrong, Matt, and I hope you're right. I just can't pick against a team with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. I just can't do it. But I hope I'm wrong, and I will be cheering for the Lakers the whole time. So let's hope Matt's right. For once, I'm on Matt's side for
And for the NBA ratings, that would be
I agree.
awesome. A
It'd be a great
LeBron,
story.
Giannis.
LeBron, Giannis.
You want the script? If the NBA is scripted, that's going to be the finals.
All right, I like it. I like it.
It's interesting. We all got different answers for the West.
Yeah. It. I mean, I could see either one of our teams coming out, but yeah, I guess we'll just have to check in throughout these playoffs. But really quickly before we get into some other drama with Dallas, first round matchups, get a little bit slept on because they don't always have the drama of the later rounds, right? But I think there are some good first round matchups that we can look at. I don't know which one are you guys kind of most excited to see. I can go first. Uh, but Clippers Suns, to me, that has to be probably the most exciting one, right? Russ and KD. That's always a great matchup, I feel like, regardless. And now they get to play each other in the playoffs, for a whole series. I think, and they still got Kawhi, who's always, kind of been a playoff performer as well, been a little bit quieter as of the past years with the injuries and whatnot, but I think that series is going to be really fun, have a lot of drama, and I think it's going to be a pretty big roadblock for the Suns. I could see that series going 7 games. I could see the Suns in 7 in that one, but yeah, Russ versus KD, man, that's too good. I don't think I can pass on that. That to me is going to be the most exciting first round series. So Logan, I don't know if you got a matchup in mind. All right, what you got?
I do. I'm rocking with the Miami Heat versus the Boston Celtics.
Ooh, okay. Why do you feel that?
People forget about how the Miami Heat were 1 3-point shot away from making it to the finals. And that memory, unfortunately, sticks with you for a long time as a Miami Heat fan. That was so close. And that was the year that they had a realistic shot of making it to the NBA Finals, and they kind of blew it. But I think this could be their comeback year to get their revenge on the Boston Celtics. So I'm sticking with that series for this first round because there's a lot of history between that matchup.
Okay, I like that. Matt, what do you think?
It's a good one. Okay, I got a different one. I got the Kings and the Warriors, defending NBA champs, playing on the road to start the playoffs against a young Kings team that we have no idea how they're going to do in the playoffs. I think this is pretty spicy. I think this is going to go 7 games just because the Warriors can't win on the road simply. So it's going to come down to, can Steph just be Superman in game 7, I think. I could see the home team winning the first 6 games. And then
Wow.
obviously game 7, anything can happen there.
Right.
So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that's going to be interesting. I'm not even going to say who I think is going to win because I really don't know
Hmm.
because I could see it either way. But
Okay.
it's going to go 7.
All right. I like that one too. That one, I think that series is going to be a lot of fun in the sense that there's just going to be so many points being scored, I think. Sacramento's offense this year has been like the
That's
best.
true.
So I think it's going to be the most probably one of the more exciting series, like just basketball wise, not storyline wise per se, but just pure entertainment of running up and down the court. A lot of threes, a lot of points, a lot of fast breaks, transition buckets. So that's a good one. I could see that one being a really fun series. But okay, well we got our playoff talk in. Just want to kind of wind down the pot a little bit with some a little bit of off season stuff. So Dallas, I kind of was hinting at Matt a little while
Yeah,
ago,
you
right?
called it. I got to
I,
give you that one.
You
that
did.
I was like, I don't know, man.
Respect.
There's only one ball, and as we've seen with kind of the implosion of Dallas, right? They couldn't figure it out. They couldn't get the team to gel together for whatever reason. Kyrie and Luca, individually skilled, but couldn't figure out a way to put it all together. And they kind of sat each other, right? They sat them the last game, so I don't know what's going on with that. But now with Kyrie, sounds like he wants to explore free agency. I don't know. I don't know what you do with Kyrie, really. You made the big trade to go get him. Now you don't even know if you get to keep him. Dallas kind of in a weird spot. And this is to me a little bit of a bad look on Luca because he had gone from, the wonder kid solo carrying his team to the playoffs, gets them all the way to the Western Conference Finals, and now to not even make the playoffs the next year. Uh, I don't know. I don't think it's a really good look for them. But Logan, I don't know quickly what kind of are your thoughts on this whole Dallas situation?
It was just a huge disappointment, and they blew it. And they have gone through this sort of disappointment before with Jalen Brunson, and it just feels like it, everyone's letting down Luca in this whole situation, and the front office can't seem to make any good decisions and to put the position in the right direction to win the championship. Uh, it's it was smart at the end for them to rest their players to at least get a higher draft pick in that situation. There's nothing you do. Um, Kyrie has no incentive to return to Dallas, and it'll be nice to see him in a Lakers jersey next year.
Oh, you're
You
going to be
know,
happy about that one, aren't you?
I don't know. Let's wait to see how this postseason goes. If we're pretty successful, I wouldn't mind just keeping the same roster there. Um, but Matt, I don't know. What do you think about the whole Dallas thing?
I think with Dallas, from their perspective, they have to find a way to keep Kyrie just simply from the fact of what they gave up. They gave up way too much. They don't really have, you could say, a future. So there's really only 2 options that you can do going into the offseason. That's either you sign Kyrie and you just have him and Luca have a whole offseason together, figure out how to work together and play off the ball. Or in that case, you sign Kyrie and you trade him. You do a sign and trade. I think that might be the most logical reason because I think we kind of see that Luca is probably best being the primary ball handler, and you have a Jalen Brunson, a secondary guy, sidekick kind of type of player who's willing to take a backseat, but he can make shots when he needs to. So I can see Dallas going in one of those 2 directions, definitely. But there's no way to just let him walk for free. I think that's just bad business.
Yeah, they're kind of in a tough spot, so I could definitely see them, um, like they have to get something out of it, one way or another. Probably find a way to just keep him. keep him around. Hopefully they can work something out between the two of them. Um, you know what? I know we still have a little bit more to talk about. So Matt, why don't we just take a little bit of a break here? We'll come back on the other side and we'll get to finish up our talk. We got a little bit of Blazers and then some regular season awards. So take a short break here and we'll come back and finish up. Okay, so Matt had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. He was a little laggy, but I think we got that.
Whoops.
I think we got that all fixed up. The audio is still okay. But yeah, we're just gonna use that first one. Anyway, let's finish up our basketball talk on this pod. So we didn't get to the Blazers with Logan. We talked about it last week, when they were officially eliminated. But Logan, season's over, season review. Why don't you kind of you want to give us your take on the season, I guess? How it went, your perspective as a fan, stuff like that.
It was very tough to go throughout the year, and Blazers fans will look back at the season saying at one point we were the 1 seed in the Western Conference earlier this year, and ever since then they've been going downhill, and it's unfortunate, and you just feel sorry for Dame. After every year, they just kind of be into disappointment, even though he's one of the best scorers in the history of the NBA. You want him to at least win one championship, or at least get a chance to at least play in the finals. But it just seems like this Blazers team is nowhere near a championship team, and the only path forward is hoping they get lucky for this draft lottery and get the number one draft pick and draft Wembanyama,
All right. I guess
or at
Yeah,
that's
but
least
do you
get
think
top
Dame
two
is
pick.
Dame gonna be okay with that? Because he said he didn't want to go through a rebuild. He wasn't really happy about, oh, I want to draft young guys and build, 2, 3 years down the road. I
I
think
think
his
that's
sense of
just
urgency is pretty high.
how Damian Lillard is when he says those things to the public. He always wants to push towards the championship team, and he understands that he needs talent now versus talent in the future, because Lillard's career is not going to last very long. If you think about it, he's sort of winding down, and his body's getting a little bit more injured and beat up. So you start to see that age catching up to him.
Yeah, it is pretty unfortunate. Although I did see, I don't know if you guys saw this report that came out, but reportedly if the Blazers do not get the number one pick, so anything but the number one pick, sounds like they're gonna trade it. Um I saw that earlier today, so good news for Dame, right? I mean the number one pick itself holds a lot of weight, especially in this draft. I don't think it's been hyped up for a number one prospect like this in a long time with all the hype surrounding Victor. So even if the Blazers do draft him, maybe he's already, Luka Doncic or Paulo Banchero's situation where, hey, they're rookies, but they come in, they're ready to go. 20 points a game, right? They had both Victor has been playing professional ball in Europe, so maybe he's a little bit more ready than some of these college guys or G League guys. You never know, but sounds like they're willing to commit to Dame and kind of the win now mode. I'll just float this one out there. I I don't really like this player necessarily personally, but I could see it as a good fit. Uh, Matt, you always bring up the center issue with Nurkic, right? Say we finally do let him go, trade one of the picks. Maybe I think you go aggressive for maybe a guy like Gobert, right? I think he would anchor that defense a lot. Offensively, I know he's not going to give us much, but I think he'd help clean up the defense a lot. See, the only thing is I don't really like Gobert. I mean like the COVID thing and now all the drama. He likes to talk a lot. But as a like just a player fit, I think he could be a good potential fit. Obviously not going to space the floor, but he'll give us more rim protection than Nurkic ever did. Uh just thinking like fit wise, there's probably other guys we could go out there and get. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of thinking about that.
I'm
Clearly,
laughing because I saw Logan's
yeah,
face
clearly
when you
Logan
said
is
that.
not a big fan of that. Well, we got to do something. I don't know.
It
I'm just floating something out there.
it makes somewhat sense. I mean, the Rudy Gobert has to get traded in this offseason. It's clearly not the right fit, so the Timberwolves got to make some sort of move to get some value out of him. But if the Blazers end up getting him, I would not like that at all, and I think we would be going another step backwards. Especially because you have to give up a lot to get a player like him.
That is true. That is true. Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to float out suggestions. Maybe there's other guys. I'm sure there's other guys out there we could take a look at. But yeah, I don't know. That was just a little suggestion. Not too crazy. I'm just floating stuff out there. Um, but yeah, I think it's the right thing for the Blazers to go all in, win now mode while you still have Dame. So we can get to more trade talks and offseason stuff after the playoffs are done, but we'll end it on that. Let's just kind of round out our pod here. Regular season awards predictions. At this point, I feel like most of them are pretty set in stone, but I mean the MVP, all the drama surrounding that, and it has kind of been all year. It's pretty much down to a three player race, obviously with Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis. Sounds like Jokic is still the favorite by a hair over Embiid. A lot of people like Embiid now. Um, I guess it's kind of take your pick, but I think we all have a little bit of a different characteristic or definition, I should say, that of what an MVP is. So why don't we all give our pick of who you would pick for the MVP, not who you think is gonna win, because I don't really like that's just a guessing thing. Like to you, who is your MVP and why? So Logan, you're the guest of honor. We'll start with you. Who's your MVP?
I'm gonna go with Joel Embiid.
Okay.
I think this is his year for finally getting that MVP because he was literally the most dominant player defensive wise in the East, and he carried the team to, to a great third three seed in the Eastern
Mhm.
Conference, and I think that's a solid position for the way that the Eastern Conference is playing out and how they put themselves in a great position for the playoffs. And I think that the earlier mock poll that they did for the MVP, they showed that the MVP should go to Joel Embiid, and I think if that's how the mock poll is going to go out, I think it's going to happen the same thing in the actual voting.
Yeah, I like that. Matt, what do you think? Not prediction, but who is your MVP?
Yeah, I don't think this guy is gonna win the MVP, but to me it's Giannis based on your question. I think he's the best player in the league playing on the best team. And so many times before, you know, with LeBron in his run, it's always been that way to vote for the best player on the best team. And it's almost sad because we're taking Giannis for granted now. Like it's almost like that LeBron treatment. It's like, oh yeah, he just casually puts up, 30, 10, and 6 and chips in a couple steals and a couple blocks a game. Like that's just superhuman at this point. And Chris Middleton, known as the sidekick, really for the team, he's coming back from an injury this year. He's, yeah, he's still good, but I don't think he's at that peak level that he was a couple years ago when he was an all-star. But granted, Drew Holiday has kind of stepped up a little bit. But that's my argument. Like Drew Holiday as your second best player versus, let's say, Embiid, who I think is probably going to win it. But he's got James Harden. He's a well-known guy, Hall of Famer for sure. But Drew Holiday is basically Giannis's second best player. And I think that goes unnoticed for how dominant Giannis has been, and he's just flown under the radar to me. That's what it is. We just take him for granted, but I would vote for Giannis if it was me.
Okay. That I mean, it's close.
It is
Between
close. It is a really close
yeah, for
race.
me it's between Embiid and Giannis. But just I guess my definition MVP. I don't know. I think the Bucks team overall is a little bit better. I mean, I know like maybe the second guy, like Drew Holiday, compared to say James Harden, right? But I think overall as a team with Drew Middleton, Brooks Lopez has been playing. I think he's one of the favorites for defensive player of the year, actually. So all around, I still really like the Bucks team a lot more. Um, than the Sixers, and like just for that reason, with how impressive Joel has been able to um also stay healthy. He's played a lot this year, right? Injuries has been kind of a problem for him. So with him being able to be consistent, and he's come up clutch when they've needed him to. He had the big 50-point game the other night. Uh both ends of the floor. I just think I'll give the slight nod to Joel over Giannis. I really liked Jokic. I think Jokic offensively, I mean, he does literally everything for them, but I just can't ignore the other side of the ball where he's like a little bit of a liability. And to me, even if it's not your strongest suit, I don't think you can be a liability on defense, which I think Jokic can be sometimes. So Jokic was kind of out for me. But yeah, between Joel and Giannis, I still got a ton of respect for Giannis. Uh, Still think kind of on that best player in the world train, right? But I'm gonna have to give it to Joel for this year. Just I think the Bucks are just a little bit too good as a team for Giannis to get it this year. So that's just my reasoning. We'll see how it goes. I think Joel's gonna win it. That's what I think. He's the
I think so
favorite
too.
now, so he's probably gonna win it. But I mean, that'd be great for him. He deserved it. They came a long way from the whole trust the process thing, and at least one of the processes worked out. We know who the other lefty that left Philly didn't work out so well. So yeah, good. It would be good for Philly and good for Joel if he wins that one. But yeah, okay. So we got our MVP picks in, Rookie of the Year. I mean, this one's pretty much. I don't think there's any debate, right? It's probably going to be
Jalen
Paulo.
Williams.
Okay,
No,
okay.
it's Paolo.
Yeah, Jalen Williams did have a great year. Uh, I will say, but yeah, Paulo really went under the radar just because he's kind of buried in Orlando. But they made a push. They made a little bit of a push towards the end of the year to make that play in. Obviously, they didn't get in, but they held on a lot longer than I think people would have thought. I think he's a really good piece. He just has a pro style game, and I mean, I think he was the worst 3-point shooter in the league. But hey, there's nowhere to go but up from here. So even if he gets, progressively a little bit better, he averaged what 20 plus around 20 points this year as a rookie, shooting the worst clip from 3 in the whole league. So hey, if that goes up a little bit more, that's like 23, 26 more points a night for him. So I mean, I don't think there's any debate. That was Matt's guy at the beginning of the year. Salute to Matt. You had him all
Oh, that
year.
one.
So yeah, that one's gonna hit for sure. Should have placed a bet on it, but yeah, my guy Jaden Ivey kind of fizzled out there in Detroit. But anyway, I think we can all agree it's Paulo there. Um, Sixth man of the year. This is an interesting one, but I'm gonna go with the consensus. I think he's the favorite. Quickly for the Knicks. Uh, I think he's been just doing a lot for them. Um, because I mean the Knicks, yeah, they got Jalen Brunson, but I think Quickly has been a great spark for them off the bench and big reason why they're right there in the middle of it in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So I'll give it to Quickly. That's my vote. What do you think, Logan?
I'm gonna go with Malcolm Brogdon. I think he has done a lot as a sixth man to put the Celtics at the second seed in the East, and he's just been that solid go-to guy shooting wise for their bench unit, and I think that uh, that his progress and his way to adapt to this offense coming this year is pretty impressive, and I'm gonna go with him for sixth man of the year.
All right, Matt. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely between those two, but I'm gonna have to side with quickly, I think. I think the thing that separated my decision was when Jalen Brunson was out and quickly, was dropping, 40 plus points a game, really kind of being the dude on offense. So that was kind of the thing that sold me. It's like, wow, he stepped up when their best player was out. So obviously with both of them, they got a nice duo there. Gonna be tough for Cleveland, I think, in that first round. So I'm gonna have to side with you, Greg. I think quickly should win this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. And that's gonna be an interesting one too. Like great defensive battle there in that series. But we'll get to that a little bit later, probably next week. All right, and coach of the year. This is an interesting one. Um, I have my pick, but Logan, who do you got, coach of the year?
I got Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right.
Is that
Yeah.
yours?
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's mine
pretty
too.
pretty easy. No one expected anything from the Kings this year, right? And here they are as a 3 seed. It was one thing if they even made, first of all, they made the play in, and then to make the playoffs is in the top 6 teams, but to be the 3 seed coming out of nowhere, right? De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis have been lights out all year, but you got to give a lot of credit to Mike Brown for instituting a system that really worked and brought a winning culture back to Sacramento. So I gotta tip my hat to Mike Brown, because I didn't see the Kings making the playoffs this year. I'll just be honest. So I thought
Agree.
they were going to be one of those bubble teams, right there fighting for that play-in tournament. But yeah, gotta salute. Um, like the
They're the
beam,
best
man.
story this whole season.
Yep, yep. Like the beam.
And now they
Okay.
get to play the Warriors. What a
Yeah.
treat.
What a treat. Hey, there's no cakewalks. It's the playoffs now. Everyone's a contender, right? So well, hey, they wanted to play the Warriors instead of the Lakers. If they lost one of their last games, uh, or yeah, I think if they lost, they would have played the Lakers, but they decided to try hard. They won, so they get the Warriors. So, hey, their own decision. Um, that's all right. I don't
Could bet
blame
right
them.
now, I would bet on the Kings.
Okay, I like that. I
They're
think
big underdog.
yeah, I think they're gonna shock some people. I know Golden State has a pedigree. I could see that going 7 though. I'm right there with Matt's prediction earlier. Seven
Home
game
team wins every game.
series and coin flip game 7. I could easily see that happening. So, all right. Oh, well, that was a lot of fun basketball talk. See how it goes from here. But Matt, why don't you round us out here with our sports fact of the day?
All right, so we are recording on April 10th. I'll take it back to 1947. Probably an athlete that's well known in history, but Jackie Robinson became the first Black player of the 20th century to sign a Major League Baseball contract. Brooklyn GM Branch Rickey got him from the Montreal Royals. So a Dodger sports fact, Greg, probably one of the most famous civil rights people in the world. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a pretty good sports fact.
Yeah.
I'm doing better
I
than
like
that
that.
Magic Johnson
Oh
HIV
my
one that I
god.
did with Hunter.
Yeah, I
I think that
agree.
was the rock bottom for
Controversial.
me. Yeah.
That's a great.
But
That's a
it was significant in history.
okay.
But I
Yeah,
am
I
doing a little
guess.
better.
Yeah, you've been stepping it up with the sports facts. I must admit it. So good job there, Matt. But yeah, Logan, thanks again for coming on. We'll probably have you on either some point in the playoffs or after the finals is all said and done. We'll figure it out. But yeah, gonna be fun. Hopefully,
Let's go Heat.
Lakers. Yeah, Heat.
Let's go
Heat.
Heat.
And Lakers.
Heat Lakers. That's the ultimate dream for Logan. A Heat Lakers finals. Then he can't lose, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, Logan, thanks again for coming on. Everyone, thank you again for listening. Uh, as always, have a good week. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next week.